Enoch, Utah is a mostly rural and agricultural city in Iron County, Utah, and is located approximately 7 miles northeast of Cedar City, in the northeast part of Cedar Valley. The population is estimated to be around 7,500 people, and it is said to be a pretty tight-knit community. It was a town built on faith, with nearly 97% of the population's religion being the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. People loved this community. It's a home to a ton of young professionals and their families. In this town, in a beautiful brick home on North Albert Drive, lived a family of 8. From the outside looking in, this family looked like your typical all-American family. 40-year-old Tasha Haight was married to her husband Michael. The two of them met at Southern Utah University in the student ward and later had married on May 10, 2003. Michael worked as an insurance agent for Allstate, and it's unclear if Tasha also had a job, or if she was just strictly a stay-at-home mom. But we do know that she graduated from Moapa Valley High School in 1999 and from Southern Utah University with a bachelor's degree in child development studies, and this was in 2004. Together, they had 5 children. 3 daughters aged 17, 12, and 7, and 2 sons ages 7 and 4. And Tasha's 78-year-old mother, Gail Earl, also was living in the home with them. Looking at Tasha's Facebook, they looked happy and full of life. They were the type of family that got family photos done yearly and went to church on Sundays. But little did everybody know that this family had some secrets, and not everything was as great as it seemed. Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023, Tasha and her daughter went to an event at their church, confirmed by people who saw them there. The next morning, Tasha was supposed to meet with an undisclosed person for an appointment of some type. When Tasha didn't show up, the person that she was meeting called in for a welfare check. However, no reason has been released as to why that welfare check was needed. And it's kind of strange that not showing up to this appointment led this person to feel the need to call in a welfare check. Did this person know something? Maybe Tasha had confided in her about an issue she was facing. Maybe this was an appointment about a dissolution of marriage, or another highly sensitive appointment. Why else, by somebody not showing up, would you automatically jump to the conclusion a welfare check is needed? So after Tasha was not located, a missing persons report was filed. Originally, it was filed in Cedar City. However, once it was determined that she lived in Enoch, it was then handed over to the local police department, and soon turned into a search for the entire family. At 4 p.m. on Wednesday, January 4th, the police decided to enter the family home, where they walked into a horrific scene. All 8 family members were found dead from what appeared to be gunshot wounds.
Well, yeah, good evening, Bob and Kelly. Yeah, we just arrived here in the past 15 minutes, and as you can see here behind me, still a pretty active scene as police have the entryway onto North Albert Drive at Saddleback View Drive blocked off right now as they work to investigate and figure out exactly what took place here earlier today. Now, what we do know right now is police were called to the home for a welfare check earlier today, and when they arrived, they found 8 people dead inside this Enoch City home. Now, 3 of those people have been confirmed to be adults. The other 5 are children. Now, police haven't said at this time if all 8 people are immediate family or not. Now, the news hitting pretty hard for this tight-knit community of about 6,000 people tonight. We spoke with a neighbor who has lived here for about 8 months who says the family were really nice people and that their kids were heavily involved in sports in the community. Now, they and even police out here tonight are just left in shock with what has taken place inside of this home.
I just feel horrible. I mean, they were just really nice people, and I mean, it's going to be one of those things that who knows.
This is not normal. This is not something that happens often at all. And in a small community in rural Utah, we're all family, and so this affects everybody, and everybody has some connection to the individuals and some connections to the families.
Quickly, the home was surrounded with yellow crime scene tape, and the blue and red lights from squad cars filled North Albert Drive. Tasha, her mother Gail, and the 5 children were all shot to death, when Michael lastly took his own life. 8 bodies were removed from the home early Thursday morning, and they were taken to the Utah State Medical Examiner's office, where the autopsies were to be conducted. The Iron County Sheriff's Office Mobile Command Unit remained parked in front of the house. Investigators from the Enoch Police Department, the Iron County Sheriff's Office, and Cedar Police worked through the night and into Thursday afternoon, collecting evidence and all sorts of information. The community was shocked by the news that this family had been found dead. They were a very well-known family in this area. Many of the community members served with them in church. The children attended preschool, elementary school, middle, and high schools in the Iron County School District. It's safe to say that this was an extremely devastating loss to many people.
Good morning, thank you. I am Jeffrey Chestnut. I'm the mayor here in Enoch City. It's not too often something like this hits very close to home. In fact, the Haight's were my neighbors. The youngest children played in my yard with my sons. Enoch City is a very close community. Just a few weeks ago, I was mentioning to my wife, as I looked at a Zillow app, that less than 1% of the homes in Enoch City were for sale. No one wants to leave here. The neighbors are good. The people are wonderful. And the efforts that we make on one another's behalf is like family. I've seen reports that put Enoch as a rural community, but you should understand that Enoch is a home of lots of young professionals and their families. Our neighborhood alone, one cul-de-sac, I think at last count about 2 years ago, had 55 kids in it. So this is a tremendous blow to many, many families who have spent many, many nights with these individuals who are now gone. It is unfortunate what we're dealing with, but we appreciate both the respect that the media has shown to this point. Seeing some of the reporting, I know that some information has been available through public documents, and I appreciate the respect that the media has shown to the family and the community to this point. I also am very appreciative of the resources that have been made available to our community. We've had calls from Governor Spencer Cox expressing condolences. I spoke with him last night in the command center, and as recently as this morning, we received calls and requests or an offer for assistance from the National Security Council, wanting to make sure that if we needed resources for our community, given the scale of this incident, that they would be made available. So we here in Enoch, a little town of about 7,500, are very grateful to the greater world at large, who are mindful of us at this time. And we ask that if you have the ability to contribute some resources to help, that is great. But at this point, we do ask more that you respect the privacy of the families involved, and that we will do our best as the community leaders to give you information through the media that would allow you to have the information you need to do your jobs and allow that privacy to be respected. So, did you want to say anything? If not, we can take a few questions.
Tim, go ahead.
Or Tim?
Yeah.
Okay.
My name is Tim Marriott. I am the Student Services Coordinator for the Iron County School District. Obviously, this has had a tremendous impact on our schools. We've got some amazing counselors and therapists and social workers in our schools that are doing a fantastic job in the trenches as we speak. We've mobilized our crisis mobile response team in our schools, and we've definitely put in our therapists and counselors at those schools that are most impacted by this tragedy. Like the mayor said, I've been blown away at the resources that have been offered to us. We've had school districts, we've had county, we've had private clinicians that are all ready to jump in, drop everything that they're doing, and come support our students. And that support is just incredible. And that just speaks to the volume of the community that we live in. We recognize that the trials and the hard times are not going to be done after today. We notice that there's quite a few students that are gone today in their schools. And we recognize that these next several days, weeks, months that are coming are going to be difficult for our schools and for our teachers. And I know that our community and our therapists and our school counselors, teachers, they stand ready to be that support and that rock for these students to make their day as normal as possible with the difficult things that they will continue to face. So again, I'm just so grateful for our schools and for our administration, and they are just really doing a good job and doing the best they can, even though that they are hurting themselves, but they're trying to put on a brave face for our students.
How many different schools have children attend?
With the age range, I believe there would be 3 schools that were impacted. Is it 4? So there's an elementary schools, the middle school, and a high schooler. So, and one of the preschools. Okay. So we've got four different schools where the students, the children were attending. So.
Is the presumed motive divorce?
We don't have investigators are still working on that. That's the information that we had was that there was a divorce petition filed. That investigation is still ongoing at this point.
When was it filed, and was it filed by the husband or the wife?
It appears that it was, according to the court documents, it was filed on the 21st of December, and it was filed by the wife.
So, some detailed questions. So, who's living in the house at the time? Was this the husband or the wife, or who's living in that house?
At this point, we don't have the details exactly of that, of the living situation. We know that her mother was there and had been there providing support through the difficulties that they were encountering. So.
And then, who was it she was supposed to meet with, can you say? Or why was the concern raised for a welfare check?
At this point, the individual who made that welfare check request, given the investigation, they were still very early in the investigation, were not ready. Investigators would rather not release that information at this point.
How long do you think they had been deceased before they were discovered?
We don't have the official information, but there are witnesses who spoke with members of the family the night before.
Have you learned they spoke with members of the family?
They spoke. The daughter and the mother were at a church activity the night before.
Wednesday?
Yes.
Did anyone, like, in the neighborhood hear anything or suspect anything was off at this house?
In the neighborhood, they're half-acre lots. Big homes on half-acre lots. You don't hear a lot coming from your neighbors' homes. So at this point, as I said, we don't have any information that we can release regarding that, but there's nothing that I have had seen any corroborated information on that would give us any indication of that.
Had law enforcement ever been to this home previously, or had any dealings with this family?
Yeah, we had been involved in some investigations with the family a couple years prior.
Can you say what kind of investigation involved?
At this moment, I'd rather not, but we were familiar with the family, yes.
Was there anything recent, or anything that, since the divorce papers were filed, with their protective order or anything?
Nothing recent that law enforcement was aware of, no.
We appreciate all of you coming. You may have noticed that there's a little quaking in our voices and a little shininess to our eyes. That's not fear. We're not afraid of you. You all look really friendly and nice people. This is what our public feel. Discussing it, talking to each other about it, brings out these emotions, and it's natural. The expectation is that we're supposed to be tough. The police officers that investigated, that walked through the home, that had to discover the information, had to record the information. They're human beings. They know this family. This is emotion that you see. So really what we're inviting the public to do, through you, the media, and through our friends and neighbors and all over the world, is if you are a praying person, to pray for law enforcement. It impacts them. Pray for the family. If you're not a religious person, care for your family too. Stand with your family support them, love them, just like we love each other and we love this family. We don't know why this happened. No one will probably know what was going through the minds of these individuals. However, we do know that they were our friends, they were our neighbors, and that we loved them. So we appreciate you. We appreciate the time you've taken to be here. We appreciate everyone who is just lending so much support.
Rob, is this harder because as the community comes together, you realize that there was nothing that you could do in this moment?
I could ask the media that question, right? I could ask anybody that question, and I think that's a great question. There will be questions that everybody asks themselves. What if I had done this? What if I had done that? Those aren't very good questions to ask. The question to ask is, what do we do now? What do we do going forward? Our police officers are tired. They're continuing to find out answers. They will continue with very little rest. The family members, the neighbors, the friends, they continue forward, caring for, talking about this, getting help if they are struggling with it. Resources are coming, as Mr. Marriott said. They'll be here for them. Just reach out and get help. Don't hold it in.
Do you know how long the family had lived in Enoch?
You know what, I think, I don't have the answer to that question. Those questions are ancillary, and it's appreciated, and those questions you can probably find out in other resources. So we're going to end right now.
But still, why? Why does this happen so often, and why did this happen to this family? New details were about to be uncovered, and this was going to paint a much clearer picture. Initially, neither police nor city officials gave any possible motive for why this would happen in their quiet little town. But now that people are getting their hands on court and police records, we're able to paint a picture of why this may have happened. Court filings revealed that Tasha filed for divorce on December 21st, 2022. Now, we don't necessarily know for a fact if this had a role in these murders, but I don't think it's far off to speculate just that. We see this type of thing time and time again. Officials stated that determining who was living in the house at the time or if anyone had moved out since the divorce papers were filed will be part of the ongoing investigation. They also stated that Tasha's mother had been staying there for weeks offering support. In the days leading up to the family massacre, Tasha told family members that Michael had removed guns from the home. Seeing as both Tasha and her mother, Gail Earl, had firearm training, she felt that the removal of the guns made them vulnerable. While no one in this family has any serious criminal history, Enoch Police Chief Jackson Ames stated that officers were involved in an investigation with the family a couple of years ago, but has had no recent involvement with them. So what happened in that investigation? Well, police records shed a light of warning signs and a previous police investigation into a violent pattern of behavior that Michael exhibited towards his family. In a 2020 interview with authorities, Macy Haight, the family's eldest daughter, detailed multiple assaults, including one where she was choked by her father and, quote, very afraid that he was going to keep her from breathing and kill her. This investigation into this assault reported by the child followed an August 27, 2020 police call from a person who was not a family member reporting potential assault happening in the home. Macy, then 14 years old, told investigators that her father's violence started in 2017 and had included choking and shaking her, and a recent episode in which he grabbed her by the shoulders and banged her head into a wooden piece along the back of the couch. In another situation, the daughter said that she was in the pantry of the kitchen when Michael became so angry that he grabbed her around the neck and choked her. The daughter stated that she was afraid that he was going to suffocate her and kill her. The daughter told the officers that she was terrified that he was going to hurt her and that while she didn't suffer an injury in that room, she was mostly scared. And I just want to put this out there. Imagine if that's what Macy did say to the police about her father. Imagine how much she did not say. When interviewed by investigators, Michael denied assaulting his daughter and said that the report was a misunderstanding. He said that Macy was mouthy and admitted to getting angry, attributing some struggles to his father's death and brother's divorce. And I'm just saying, if he was struggling with his brother's divorce so much to the point of physically assaulting his own daughter, Imagine the anger that he felt when his own wife filed for divorce. The investigators' notes also shed light on Michael's treatment of his wife, Tasha. Macy told investigators that her father would often belittle her mother and call her stupid and lazy. Macy stated that he would even take her iPad and phone to keep her from leaving the house. Macy stated that when she would try to stand up for her mom, it would only make Michael angrier, and he would lash out more. Michael denied this and stated that he had taken her phone to surveil her text messages to see if she had spoken negatively about his family, which is another red flag. Was it to see if she was talking negatively about his family, or to see if she was telling people what was happening behind closed doors and his behavior? Tasha told authorities she didn't want criminal charges filed against her husband and hoped that the investigation would be a wake-up call for him. In a statement after the murders, District Attorney Chad Dotson stated that his office didn't charge Michael in 2020 because there was insufficient evidence to pursue criminal charges, likely based on an inability to prove each element of the case beyond a reasonable doubt or a statute of limitation barrier. However, he also stated that no interviews or police reports from the investigation were ever sent to his office for formal screening of charges. Instead, investigators warned him and told him that the allegations against him were close to assaultive and that he should continue seeing somebody for his anger issues.
I think what's most frustrating is that I think if we think about Macy at this point as a victim of she really did everything the system asks of her. And now, effectively, all she has to show for that is a marble slab over her body with her name on it.
Salt Lake City Rabbi Avremi Zippel read how Macy Haight, the oldest daughter of Michael Haight and one of his murder victims, told Enoch police in 2020 that her father would shake her and once choked her.
But sadly, history has repeated itself way too many times for us not to realize that people who end up shooting their families usually have these sorts of stories.
Some of what's in the Enoch report matches warning signs published by the National Domestic Violence Hotline. It warns abusive behavior includes insulting, demeaning, or shaming you, especially in front of others, preventing you from making your own decisions, preventing or discouraging you from spending time with others, and showing jealousy of time with others.
2 years later, they are now bagging up the bodies of every single person in this family, including Macy, who was trying to get her family help from this monster who ultimately annihilated every single one of them. An obituary that was published in the St. George Spectrum last week described Michael in glowing terms as an Eagle Scout, a businessman, and a father who made it a point to spend quality time with each and every one of his children. The obituary made no mention of the killings and was quickly taken offline after so much backlash. All day on Thursday, January 5th, many residents of Enoch were seen driving by the house slowly with their windows down. One woman even placed flowers on the edge of the police line, which was the start of a memorial that many people added to. By 2 p.m., there was a collection of flowers, a Minnie Mouse doll, and 5 small teddy bears. The woman who left the teddy bear stated that each bear represented one of their children. A true sign that this community really did care for one another. Many people who knew the family and the kids talked about how they were just all around great kids who were loving and smart. On social media, several people who knew Tasha posted tributes to her. One woman posted, "The kindness you showed and the fun we had with you won't be forgotten, sweet friend. Our hearts are just aching with this tragedy." And then another friend posted, "Rest easy with your babies in the arms of our Savior." The family of Tasha and Gail started a GoFundMe page to help with the expenses of the funeral and burial for 7 people at once. And miraculously, over $100,000 was raised. Tasha, her mother Gail, and Tasha's 5 children were all laid to rest last week in Laverton, Utah, where Gail is from and where Tasha grew up. There were around 800 people in attendance and others watched via live stream. Following the services, Brett Earl, the 3rd child of Gail and brother of Tasha, made a very emotional statement.
I know you were eager to discover the story.
Brett Earl is Gail's son, Tasha's brother, and uncle to the 5 children who lost their lives.
Certainly there's a story of 2 families, hurt and broken through an unthinkable tragedy.
Together, he and his 5 remaining siblings shared memories and messages, lessons they said their mother had taught and assigned to them.
A story of these families being able to find peace, comfort, and solace through the beauty of the knowledge of God's plan of salvation.
There was no mention of Tasha's husband, but Michael's parents and their family came first on the Earle family's long list of acknowledgments.
This tragedy has left them with a profound heartbreak and loss, as it has us.
First responders who discovered and investigated their deaths were also on the front lines, helping to escort the caskets to their final resting place.
Seek out those around you who need support or are in pain. Be the balm of healing in their lives.
Brett urged those who are hurting to seek help and shared the message that he said had offered healing and strength to their family when they needed it most.
Only a tender and merciful and loving Heavenly Father and God can take this tragedy that has touched us so deeply and reach deep inside each of us and turn it into a miracle of healing. That is the miracle we hope each of you find in your quest to move forward from this tragedy.
The case drew national attention, and words of condolences came from Utah officials and even the President of the United States. It stated how many family mass killings have become disturbingly common across the United States, occurring on average every 3.5 weeks for the past 2 decades. They call it family mass killings, but many other people also refer to it as family annihilators and even familicide. Experts in criminal behavior say so-called family annihilators are often trying to spare their families from an indignity or a tragedy, either real or imagined. That they're trying to fix the problem, and the really horrible solution that they've come up with is to kill their family. Perpetrators of familicide often believe that somehow this is the way to spare the family of humiliation, the stress, and the embarrassment of hitting rock bottom.
And I think that we think only monsters would do this sort of thing to their family, not someone who was an Eagle Scout, not someone who was the church-going kind of guy. But it's time we understand that really good people can do really, really bad things, and it's on us as a public and as a society to prevent that from happening.
This story is just one of the many that happens way too often all over the world. 5 children were robbed of being able to grow up, find love, and have a family of their own, and a career that they were passionate about. A mother was robbed of watching her children grow up to get married and excel at life. And a grandmother was robbed of many more great years to make memories with her family. My heart is just completely shattered over this case, and the friends and family of Tasha and Gail and the children they're in my thoughts all the time because it just haunts me. I know that everyone who knows them feels a gaping hole in their hearts, and I truly hope that they are all provided with the resources to help them cope and heal from this horrific tragedy that occurred in their community and so close to their church. If we hear more updates as far as any notes left behind, any more behavior reported, any details about that meeting that Tasha was going to when the welfare check was called in, I will let you know. In the meantime, please continue to keep the community and the family in your thoughts and prayers.